The arena lights rose slowly, bright enough to burn the eyes of anyone who was not used to them. The crowd was already loud, but when the great screens above the fighting ring lit up, the sound grew even stronger. Thousands of alien voices mixed together, each one waiting to see something impossible, something dangerous, something they would talk about for years. The Galactic Arena was famous for this. Champions came here to test their skill, pride, and strength. But on this day, the champion did not feel pride. He felt something strange in his chest, something he had never known before. A small pressure, a soft worry. His name was Korath. He was huge, tall like a metal tower, covered in dark armor plates that grew naturally from his skin. His claws were sharp enough to cut stone. His race was built for war, raised to fight since birth. He had never lost a match. Every opponent feared him before the fight even began. But today, his opponent was not one of the usual alien races. It was something he had only heard stories about. Something that many believed was too strange to be allowed inside the arena. A human. No one understood humans very well. They were new to the Galactic Union. Some aliens said humans were weak because their bodies looked soft. Others said humans were wild animals wearing clothes. Some believed humans were unpredictable and dangerous, even when unarmed. But most aliens, including Korath, believed they were simply exaggerated stories told by travelers who enjoyed drama. But when the doors on the opposite side of the arena opened, Korath understood something quickly. The human did not walk like prey. He did not walk like someone expecting to die. He walked like he had already accepted everything. As if nothing in this world could surprise him anymore. His name was Elias, a simple man with simple clothing and no armor except light protective fabric. His eyes were calm, but behind that calmness something sharp waited. It was not fear, it was something else, something Korath had never seen before. The arena announcer's voice boomed across the entire stadium. The crowd became silent, waiting for the words that would start the match. Elias did not look at the crowd. He kept his eyes on Korath, watching every move, every breath. He studied the champion like someone reading an old book, page by page, quietly learning all of its secrets. Korath felt that strange pressure again. He pushed it down. The ground beneath them shook as energy shields formed around the fighting area. Dust lifted in the air. The sound of metal locking echoed from the walls. This was the signal everyone waited for. When the fight began, Korath rushed forward with the speed of a charging beast. His heavy steps cracked the ground. The crowd roared with excitement. They had seen this many times. A single hit from Korath could break bones, crush armor, or knock out a trained fighter instantly. But Elias moved differently. Instead of running away, he stepped to the side, quick, simple, almost lazy. Korath's claws cut nothing but air. The champion turned, confused for a moment. Elias' eyes held no fear, only focus. Korath attacked again, this time faster, using both claws. Elias dodged again, but not by stepping far away. He stayed close, too close. He moved like someone dancing around danger, not escaping it. Korath felt frustration rising. This was not how fights usually went. Opponents usually tried to run. This one stayed close enough to be hit but never got hit. Elias finally moved his hand, just one hand. A short jab, simple and direct. It landed on the champion's ribs. For someone like Korath, the hit should have been nothing. But the pain was real, sharp, like a spark inside his bones. Korath stumbled back, his eyes wide. The crowd gasped. They had never seen the champion move backward in any fight. Whispers spread through the arena. Some did not believe what they had just seen. Others leaned forward in their seats, suddenly more excited than before. Elias stood calmly, breathing slow, as if he had all the time in the world. Korath growled, anger replacing confusion. He charged again, using a different attack, one designed for heavy armored enemies. Elias ducked under it and struck again, faster, harder. This time the champion fell to one knee. The entire arena went silent for a moment, shocked. The champion lifted his head, looking at the human with disbelief. How could this small creature stand against him? How could he be so fast, so calm, so dangerous? Elias spoke for the first time, his voice steady and quiet. You're strong, but strength without control means nothing. Korath had no idea what the human meant. Control? He had trained all his life. He had perfected every fighting style of his species. Yet this human, this soft-looking creature, moved with a skill he could not understand. The champion stood up again, slower this time. His chest felt heavy. The strange pressure was stronger now. He thought it might be fear, but that made no sense. A champion does not fear. But as Elias stepped forward, calm and unshaken, Korath realized something terrible. He was not the hunter in this fight. He was the one being studied, watched, and predicted. Elias had already followed his patterns. He had already read him like a book. Korath roared, a sound that made the arena tremble. He launched his strongest attack, the one that ended every fight. But Elias saw it coming long before the champion moved. His feet shifted lightly. His body turned smoothly. Then he delivered a single, perfect strike to the champion's jaw. The giant fell, the crowd screamed in shock. Some aliens stood, some shouted, others were frozen in silence. No one had expected this. No one had believed a human could bring down the Galactic Champion. Korath lay on the ground, his vision blurry. Through the haze, he saw Elias walk toward him, not with pride but with quiet respect. The human stopped in front of him, offering him a hand. At that moment, Korath understood something that shook him more than the fight itself. Humans were not weak. They were frightening, and this was only the beginning. The energy shield around the arena faded slowly, and the crowd's noise grew louder with every second. Aliens from dozens of species shouted in disbelief, some cheering, some confused, some even angry. No one had expected the champion to fall. No one had imagined a human could deliver such a perfect strike. Elias stood quietly, his hand still extended toward Korath, as if waiting patiently for the giant warrior to decide. Korath had never been offered help before. In his culture, helping a defeated fighter was seen as an insult. But something in the human's eyes did not look insulting. There was no pride, no mockery, only respect. Korath slowly pushed himself up without taking the hand. His jaw hurt and his chest still felt heavy. The arena lights above him flickered, casting long shadows across the ring. He stared at Elias, trying to understand him. Elias did not speak. He simply stepped back, giving the champion space. The silence between them was strange but not uncomfortable. Korath could not explain why, but he felt something he had not felt before, a desire to understand rather than dominate. Arena officials rushed into the ring. Some examined Korath, making sure he could stand. Others circled Elias, taking measurements, scanning his vitals, trying to learn something about the human's incredible movements. But Elias ignored them all. His attention stayed on Korath. The announcer's voice finally returned, louder than before, full of excitement and confusion. The entire audience listened as he declared the result. The winner of today's match, the human warrior Elias. Half the stadium cheered. The other half shouted angrily. Some threw objects into the air. Some demanded another fight. Some called it a mistake. The Galactic Champion had been undefeated for years. Many believed it was impossible for him to lose. Korath felt weakness in his legs, but something deeper troubled him more. He had trained his entire life to become the strongest. He had fought hundreds of battles. He had survived wars. And now he had been defeated by someone who did not even look like a soldier. Elias nodded once at the champion, then turned toward the exit doors. But before he walked away, he spoke softly. "You learn fast. That's rare." Korath blinked. It was the first compliment he had received from an opponent. It felt strange, almost unreal. When Elias disappeared behind the metal gates, Korath stood alone in the center of the arena, hearing the loud arguments of the crowd echo around him. Later, when the arena lights finally dimmed and the noise faded into quiet hallways, Korath left through the back corridors. He moved slowly, still feeling the human's strike. But what bothered him more was not the pain, it was the question forming in his mind. How could such a small creature fight with such confidence? As he walked, a sound caught his attention. Someone was waiting for him near the inspection bay, someone wearing a long red cloak, carrying a glowing data pad. The figure stepped forward, revealing smooth silver skin and bright golden eyes, an alien from the Archivist Guild. They studied fighters, battles, and everything related to combat history. "Korath," the Archivist said, "the High Council wants a full report. They demand an explanation." Korath frowned. "Explanation for what? For how you lost?" The Archivist tilted their head. They claimed something must have gone wrong, a mistake, a rule broken, perhaps interference. Korath growled, insulted. "There was no error, the human defeated me." The Archivist typed something on their data pad. Many refuse to believe that. They say humans are too weak, too new, too small. Korath remembered Elias' calm expression, the way he moved, the perfect timing of his strike. He shook his head. "They are wrong. Humans are not weak." The Archivist looked up with interest. "You sound certain." "I am." Korath hesitated, then added, "And humans feel strange. When you face them, you cannot predict them. They do not fight with patterns, they break rules." They changed their movements like water changing shape. The archivist's eyes widened slightly. "That is dangerous." Korath nodded. "Yes, very." The archivist recorded the statement, but their expression showed worry. "The council will not like this. If humans are truly that unpredictable, it could change everything. Trade, politics, even military plans." Korath felt a heavy weight settle in his chest. This was bigger than one fight. The entire galaxy might change because of what happened today. Before he could say anything more, another voice called from behind. "Champion Korath." Korath turned and saw a group of soldiers escorting someone with authority. A tall figure in blue armor stepped forward, the arena commander. His face was stern and his voice was deep. "You are summoned to the council chamber tomorrow. They want details about the human." Korath nodded slowly. "I will tell them everything." The commander paused, then said, "There is something else. The human has requested to speak with you." Korath's eyes widened. "Why? We do not know, but he said it is important." Korath felt his heart beat harder. Why would Elias want to talk to him? What more could the human possibly want? The commander stepped aside. "He waits in the visitor hall. Go when you are ready." Korath hesitated, then walked down the long corridor. The lights flickered softly overhead. His steps echoed off the smooth metal floors. As he approached the visitor hall, his mind filled with questions. Was Elias here to mock him, to teach him, to warn him, or something worse? When he reached the door, it opened with a soft hiss. Elias stood inside, alone, leaning casually against a metal railing. He looked completely relaxed, as if the earlier fight meant nothing. Korath stepped inside, confusion written across his face. Elias smiled slightly. "You want to know how I did it, don't you?" Korath clenched his fists. "Yes." Elias pushed off the railing and walked toward him with slow steps. His expression was calm, but there was something deep in his eyes, something old and experienced. "Humans learn fast, but more than that, we adapt. We make mistakes and then never repeat them. We look weak, but we fight like our lives depend on every second." Korath breathed deeply. "How did you strike with such force? Your body should not be able to—" Elias cut him off gently. "Because you thought strength was everything. But strength is only one part." Korath stared at him, waiting for the rest. Elias moved closer, lowering his voice. "There is something the galaxy doesn't know about us, something they will discover soon." Korath felt a chill run down his spine. "What is it?" Elias looked him directly in the eyes. "We haven't even shown our true potential yet." Korath could not move when he heard Elias' words. They felt heavier than any blow he had ever taken in the arena. Humans had not shown their true potential yet. If this was not their full strength, then what were they truly capable of? For a moment, the champion forgot his own defeat. He forgot the pain in his jaw, the confusion, the humiliation. All he felt was curiosity mixed with something darker, fear that came quietly without warning. Elias paced slowly around the hall, his boots tapping lightly on the metal floor. He looked calm, but his calmness only made Korath more uneasy. The human seemed too stable, too controlled, as if he knew exactly what was coming next while everyone else walked blindly into the dark. "You want to understand humans," Elias said, stopping beside a large window overlooking the empty arena. "Most alien races look at us and see soft skin, weak bones, slow bodies, but they don't see what really matters." Korath stepped forward. "What matters?" "Our mind," Elias said simply. "Our choices, our ability to change faster than anyone expects." Korath frowned. "Change, all species change, not like humans." Elias shook his head. "We adapt in moments, in battles, in crisis, in fear, in pain. When something threatens us, we don't freeze, we evolve." Korath felt a cold sensation spread across his arms. He had faced many warriors who grew stronger after training or after years of war. But Elias was talking about change happening inside a single fight. He looked at the human carefully. "Then you came here to warn me." Elias met his eyes. "No, I came here because you're the first one who didn't run. You faced me honestly. Most aliens fight with pride or fear. You fought because you believed you were responsible for something bigger." Korath stayed silent. Elias continued walking. "There's something else," Elias said. "Something important. Humanity didn't come to the galaxy to fight, but we know sooner or later someone will try to test us again, and again, and again." Korath lowered his head. He understood. The galaxy respected strength, but it also feared the unknown. If humans were strange, unpredictable, and fast learners, many races would feel threatened. Some would try to challenge them. Some might even try to destroy them. Elias rested his hand on the cold metal railing. That's why I fought today, not for glory, not for entertainment. The council wanted to test humans. They wanted to see how far we could be pushed. Korath's eyes widened. So the fight was planned? Partly. Elias nodded. They wanted a human to face the strongest champion in the galaxy. They believed we would lose. They wanted proof that humans were harmless. Korath felt something twist inside him. He had been used. The arena, the crowd, the match. It was not a simple competition. It was a test. A political game disguised as entertainment. Elias looked at him again. But what happened today changed everything. They didn't get what they expected. Korath took a deep breath. They will not like this. No, Elias said softly. They will not. A sudden alarm echoed through the hallway, making both men turn sharply. Korath recognized the sound. It was the arena security alert. Something serious had happened. Elias stepped back, tense now, his earlier calm fading just slightly. A door slid open and a guard rushed inside. Champion Korath, human Elias, you must come with me. The council demands your presence immediately. Korath's eyes narrowed. Why? There is a disturbance, the guard said, voice shaking. A violent one? Elias exchanged a quiet look with Korath, then nodded. They followed the guard down the long corridors, passing workers who stared at Elias with wide, nervous eyes. News of the champion's defeat had already spread. Whispers followed them like echoes. When they reached the council chamber, the atmosphere felt tight. 7 council members sat at a long, curved table, each from a different alien race. Their expressions were tense, worried, or angry. The room was filled with glowing screens showing arena footage, data charts, biological scans, and reaction reports. One council member, a tall creature with blue crystalline skin, spoke first. Human Elias. You were told not to exceed normal combat strength. Elias raised an eyebrow. Define normal. Enough to entertain, another member said sharply. Not enough to break our champion, Korath growled. He did not break me. The council ignored him. The blue-skinned member pointed at the screen. This strike, this technique, no human was reported to have such capability. We want the truth. Elias crossed his arms. The truth is simple. You underestimated humans. The room fell silent. A council member with long, golden horns leaned forward. We watched your fight carefully. You changed your movement pattern after only 2 of the champion's attacks. That speed of adaptation is unnatural. Elias gave a small smile. Unnatural to you. The golden-horned member hit the table with a clenched fist. Do not play games with us. We demand to know if humanity is hiding military enhancements. Korath stepped forward, raising his voice. Enough. Elias fought with honor. I should know. I was the one who faced him. But the council was not listening. Another screen lit up, showing crowd reactions, social network messages, and news broadcasts spreading across the galaxy. Everywhere, people were talking about humans. Some admired them. Some feared them. Some wanted them banned from the arena. This single fight, the blue-skinned council member said, has destabilized public confidence. Entire worlds are questioning our judgment. Elias stared at the screens quietly. Korath watched him, wondering what the human was thinking. Finally, Elias spoke. If fear is your worry, then you should know something important. Every council member turned toward him. Elias stepped into the center of the room. His voice was calm, steady, but powerful enough to silence everyone. Humans don't want war. We don't want to be your enemy. But if you treat us like a threat, if you corner us, if you try to control us, he paused, his eyes cold now. You will discover that what you saw in the arena today was nothing compared to what we can truly become. A long silence fell. Even Korath felt frozen by the weight of those words. The council members exchanged tense glances. Some were afraid, some were furious, some were thoughtful. Finally, the oldest member spoke in a trembling voice. What exactly are you humans? Elias gave a slow breath. You'll find out soon. The council chamber felt colder after Elias spoke. His words stayed in the air like a silent warning, even after he fell quiet. No one in the room moved for several seconds, not even Korath. The council members stared at the human as if he were a creature they had never studied before. Something unpredictable, something they could not control, something that did not belong to their comfortable political world. The oldest council member slowly leaned back in his chair, his long fingers trembling slightly. Elias, humanity claims peace, yet every sign points to danger. If we cannot understand your species, how can we trust you? Elias did not turn away, his voice was steady. Trust comes from honesty, and I am being honest with you. Humans are dangerous only when pushed. If you respect us, we respect you. If you fight us, we fight back harder than you expect. Another member whispered, "This is exactly why we worry." Korath finally stepped forward. "Enough, Elias is not your enemy. He defeated me, yes, but he showed control, precision. He had many chances to kill me. He did not." The council looked at Korath with mixed feelings. Some respected him, some believed he was making excuses for his defeat, but none ignored his words. Before anyone could respond, alarms suddenly flashed on every screen. A deep warning tone filled the chamber. The door guards reached for their weapons, and the council members turned sharply toward the displays. A new video feed appeared. It showed a crowd outside the arena, angry aliens shouting, throwing objects, demanding answers. Protesters waved signs. Some demanded humans be banned. Others shouted that the council had lied to them. A few groups even called humans a danger to the galaxy. "What is happening out there?" the golden-horned council member asked, voice shaking. "Public unrest," a guard reported. "People think you let a monster enter the arena. Some think humans cheated, some think you hid their true abilities." Elias sighed softly. "You see, this is why fear grows, not because of us, but because you don't understand us." The council chamber lights flickered as the noise outside grew louder, shaking the building. Korath turned toward Elias, suddenly understanding the deeper problem. "It is not your strength they fear," he said quietly. "It is what they cannot predict." Elias nodded. "Exactly." Suddenly, another alarm activated, sharper, more urgent. A second feed opened on the screen. This time it showed a group of unknown aliens approaching the arena gates. They carried weapons. Their movements were organized. Their armor was marked with the emblem of the Dravak Dominion, a powerful, warlike faction known for testing new species. The room filled with tension. One council member whispered, "Why are the Dravak here? What do they want?" A guard swallowed hard. They demand a fight, a real one. They want the human." Elias did not react, but Korath's expression darkened. "The Dravak do not challenge. They provoke. They want war." The oldest council member rubbed his forehead. "They believe humanity is a threat to their influence. They will try to break you before your species grows." Elias stepped forward. "And what will you do? Stop them? Protect the peace? Or will you feed me to them to satisfy their fear?" The council fell silent again. It was clear they had no answer. The arena commander rushed into the room, breathing hard. "The Dominion forces are demanding the human be handed over for combat trials. They are threatening violence if we refuse." Korath felt heat rise inside him. "You cannot hand him over. They will kill him, and they will start a war." A council member whispered, "But if we refuse, they will attack our city." Elias looked at the screens showing the Dominion warriors. Their armor was thick, almost stone-like. Their eyes glowed with hunger for conflict. He had read about them before coming to the galaxy. They respected only brute strength. They won't accept. The sky above the arena darkened as storm clouds gathered, pulled in by the city's unstable weather system. The air felt heavy, charged with something electric. The crowd outside the gates, once loud and wild, fell quiet as Elias stepped forward. Even the protesters stopped shouting. It was as if everyone sensed something important was about to happen, something dangerous, something that might change everything they believed about humans. The Dravak warriors formed a circle around their leader. Their armor glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Each one looked ready to tear Elias apart the moment he moved. Korath watched closely, fear rising inside him. Fear not for Elias, but for what might happen if the Dravak pushed too far. The Dravak leader raised his heavy weapon and pointed it at Elias. "This fight will happen here before all witnesses. No rules, no limits show us the real human." Elias did not blink. He simply rolled his shoulders once, loosening his arms as if preparing for a light exercise. His calmness made the Dravak leader's grin widen. He mistook it for weakness. Korath stepped forward. "This is not an arena match. If this becomes a war, you will regret it." The Dravak leader snorted. "The only ones who will regret anything are those who stand with the human." The moment he finished speaking, he rushed forward with surprising speed for his size. The ground cracked under his weight. Dust shot into the air. His weapon swung toward Elias like a falling thunderbolt. Many aliens in the crowd gasped, expecting the human to be crushed instantly. But Elias moved at the last second, not with panic, not with fear. His movement was smooth, controlled, almost lazy, like he had already seen the attack before it even began. The weapon slammed into the ground beside him, sending a shockwave through the street. Elias used the moment to place one hand on the Dravak leader's arm and push lightly. Just a small movement, yet the Dravak leader stumbled. The crowd fell silent. The leader regained his balance and roared with frustration. He swung again, faster, stronger, angrier. Elias dodged easily, stepping backward with measured precision. He didn't attack. He didn't even raise his hands fully. He was waiting, watching the Dravak leader grow more wild, more reckless. Korath understood the strategy. Elias was studying him, learning him, just like he had done in the arena. Humans adapted quickly, too quickly. With every attack, Elias became more dangerous. The Dravak warriors around the circle began shouting. Some growled for blood, some cheered their leader. But a few watched Elias carefully, their expressions shifting. They had come expecting to crush a weak creature. Instead, they saw something they could not explain. Finally, the leader spun his weapon in a wide arc that should have forced Elias to leap back. But Elias stepped inside the attack, far closer than any sane fighter would. His fist moved only a few inches, but it struck the leader in the chest like a shockwave. The Dravak leader stumbled back, eyes wide. He had not expected pain. He had certainly not expected it from such a small hit. Elias lowered his hand. "You're strong, but strength alone has limits." The words made the leader furious. He charged again, swinging wildly now. Elias stepped aside, stepped in, stepped out, each movement precise, almost mathematical. He tapped the leader's arm, then his ribs, then his leg, each tap small, each one targeted, each one weakening. Korath recognized it. Elias was breaking his rhythm, breaking his balance, breaking his confidence. A technique that required deep understanding of an opponent's structure. Something no normal fighter could learn in only a few minutes. But Elias had learned it anyway. The Dravak leader roared in blind rage and lifted his weapon high, preparing a final, crushing blow. The ground shook as he charged. Dust and sparks filled the air. Elias exhaled softly, then he moved. His body shifted forward with controlled speed, not too fast, not too slow. His foot pressed into the ground. His fist rose. And as the leader's weapon fell, Elias struck upward with a clean, perfect punch that connected under the Dravak's jaw. For a moment, everything stopped. The weapon froze midair. The leader's eyes rolled back. His massive body lifted off the ground just slightly before collapsing like a falling boulder. The entire street went silent. The Dravak warriors stared, stunned. The protesters stared. Even the council guard stood frozen. No one knew how to react. Elias lowered his hand and breathed out slowly. "If this is your test," he said quietly, "then you have your answer." For a long time, no one spoke. Then one of the Dravak warriors stepped forward. He was smaller than the leader, but had scars across his face that marked him as a veteran. He looked at Elias with new eyes, not filled with anger, but with caution. "What are you?" he asked softly. Elias wiped dust from his sleeve. "Just human. But you fight like—" The warrior stopped, searching for a word. "Someone who had no choice," Elias said. The warrior bowed his head slightly. "We misjudged you." Korath finally stepped forward. "All of you did." The Dravak warriors slowly lifted their leader and carried him away, still unconscious. No one shouted anymore. No one threatened. Fear and respect mixed in the air like heavy smoke. When they were gone, the crowd finally breathed again. Some backed away quietly, some whispered, some stared at Elias with wide eyes, but none dared to shout at him anymore. Elias turned to leave, but Korath caught his arm gently. "You could have killed him." Elias nodded once. "Yes." "But you didn't." "I don't want war," Elias said. "None of us do." Korath looked at him with deep understanding. "But now the galaxy will fear you even more." Elias sighed. "I know." The council members emerged slowly from the building, each one looking shaken. They had seen everything. They could not deny what humans were anymore. They could not pretend humans were weak or harmless. One member stepped closer. "Elias, the galaxy is changing. After today, everything is different." Elias looked up at the storm clouds gathering overhead. The wind brushed across his face. "It was always going to change," he said softly. "You just didn't see it yet." Korath stood beside him, watching the sky darken. He felt something shift inside him, not fear, not confusion, a sense of coming danger. Something bigger was moving beyond this fight, something deeper. Something that involved more than a simple arena match. Elias felt it too, and both of them knew the real challenge had not even started yet. The city slowly returned to silence after the Dravak warriors left. The storm clouds began to break apart, letting soft light fall over the arena grounds. Elias stood there for a moment, breathing slowly, letting the tension in his body fade. Korath watched carefully, still amazed, still confused, still trying to understand the depth of the human in front of him. But Elias did not look proud. He did not smile. His eyes were calm but not peaceful. Something weighed on him, something heavier than the fight he had just survived. The council members gathered around him, but none dared to approach too close. They had seen too much. They were no longer unsure about humanity. They were afraid, and fear made them choose their words more carefully. The oldest council member stepped forward, his voice low. "We cannot deny what we saw today. Humans are more dangerous than we believed, but also more controlled." Elias did not answer. Korath moved beside him. "He saved you, he saved the city, he saved all of us from a war." The council exchanged a silent look. The Golden Horn member spoke slowly. "Yes, and for that we owe him our respect, but there is a problem now." Elias turned his head slightly. "What problem?" "The galaxy," the council member said, "is already reacting. News of your victory is spreading at extreme speed. Entire planets are debating your species. Some admire humans, some are terrified, and some may plan to challenge you." Korath understood. This was not just about the arena anymore, it was about the entire galaxy. Elias looked up at the sky again, thinking quietly. "What happens next?" he asked. The oldest council member sighed. "That depends on you." Elias blinked. "On me." "Yes," the member continued. "If humanity sends more like you, warriors, fighters, unpredictable minds, many will see it as a threat. If humanity sends diplomats instead, they might think you are hiding strength until you are ready." Korath growled. "They want humans to be weak." "No," the council member said. "They want humans to be easy to understand." Elias shook his head. "But we are not easy to understand." "And that," the member replied, "is what scares everyone." For a moment no one spoke. Then Elias gave a slow breath. "You want a solution, but the truth is simple. Humans will come, more of us. Explorers, scientists, families, soldiers. We're not trying to take anything from anyone. We just want a place among the stars." The council members looked at each other. Some nodded, some hesitated. Korath stepped forward, speaking with strong confidence. "Then let me speak for him." The council turned to him. "I fought him. I lost, and I learned something all of you must understand. Humans are not monsters. They are not unstable. They do not fight because they enjoy war. They fight because they choose to stand when others would fall." Elias listened quietly, surprised but grateful. Korath continued, voice louder now. "If the galaxy fears humans, then teach them the truth. Show them the human spirit. Their strength is not in their fists. It is in their will." His words hung in the air like a promise. The council chamber fell silent again, but this silence felt different. Less fear, more thought, more possibility. Elias finally spoke. "Korath, what do you think will happen now?" The champion smiled, a rare, almost peaceful smile. "Everything will change, but that does not have to be bad." Elias nodded. "Humans don't want to be alone in the universe." "And now," Korath said, "you won't be." The council members stepped away to discuss the future, leaving Elias and Korath alone for a moment. They walked slowly toward the quiet arena, now empty and still. The place where they fought only hours ago looked different now, almost peaceful. Korath touched the cracked stone beneath his feet. "When I first saw you, I thought you were weak." Elias chuckled softly. "Everyone thinks that at first." "But now," Korath continued, "I think humans might be the most dangerous species we have ever met." Elias looked at him. "Dangerous doesn't always mean bad." "No," Korath agreed. "It can also mean powerful, inspiring, capable of great things." They stopped near the center of the arena. Elias closed his eyes for a moment, remembering the fight, remembering the pressure, the fear, the control, the responsibility. Then he opened his eyes again. "You know," Elias said quietly, "I didn't want any of this. I didn't come here to show strength. I came here to understand the galaxy. But now, it feels like the galaxy is learning about us instead." Korath nodded, "And it should." Elias placed his hand on the champion's shoulder gently. "Thank you. You were honest. You treated me with respect. I won't forget it." Korath lowered his head, touched by the human's sincerity. "And I will never forget what I saw today." A soft wind moved across the arena floor, carrying away the dust of battle. For the first time since the match began, the world felt still and safe, if only for a moment. Elias turned to leave. "I will return to my ship soon."